5-year Park and Recreation Master Plan, resources, the DNR Park Plan review process, and planning basics. I'm Greg Bifus, the Chief Planner for the Division of Outdoor Recreation. So why should my community create a park plan? Well, there's a bunch of reasons. It's a chance for you to get input from your community, both your park users and your non-users. You want to be able to find out why people might not be using your parks. You want to ensure that the public actually wants the amenities that you have and that they want the amenities that you might develop. It's a chance to save money on building something that maybe people don't actually want to use. It gets you a clear, written example of a plan for your next 5 years. It helps you obtain funding. It helps you save time, staff effort, and budget. And it's an opportunity to share that your goals, mission, and services and amenities with your publics. So in Indiana, the basics for local government park planning is you don't actually have to send a plan to IDNR. There's no requirement to do so, and a lot of communities don't. It's only required if a community wants to become eligible to apply for Land and Water Conservation Fund grants. So some pure communities do send in plans strictly because they want DNR review and feedback, and we're happy to do that for you. A community can write their own plan. They can hire help to help them with getting the plan process completed, or they can hire someone to do the entire plan. It is entirely the community's choice. And here's the thing, plan quality as seen by DNR has absolutely no relation to the expense of the plan or who does it. All planning methods can produce a great plan. And on the average, plans take between 6 and 12 months to complete. Our local park planning program, we have free downloads of all of our planning information, our planning guidelines, frequently asked questions, plan templates, and more at www.in.gov/DNR/outdoor/2603.htm. One more time, that's www.in.gov/DNR/outdoor/2603.htm. One of the things you'll see there, the small town fill-in-the-blank template for population 7,000 or less. For any community over 7,000, there is the Anytown, Indiana example 5-year master plan, and that is actually something you can also use as a template. Now, for Land and Water Conservation Fund eligibility in a given year, you need to have your first draft plan in by January 15th. You'll get your review back in approximately 2 to 4 weeks, and the final revised plan will be due by April 15th of that year. You'll generally get your final review back in also roughly 2 to 4 weeks. Now, DNR does accept and review plans year-round if your community does not care or is not concerned with Land and Water Conservation Fund eligibility. So we'll take a plan anytime if you're not worried about land and water. Please submit all plans electronically via email. Microsoft Word, PDF, WordPerfect, any of those is fine. Just send it to us via email. It's free. You don't have to pay any postage. You don't have to worry about whether it got through the mail. That's probably the easiest and fastest and least expensive way to get a plan to us. We don't need fancy hard copies. In fact, we really prefer not to see them. And early submission for that planning timeline for land and water is encouraged. Now, who do I ask for planning help at DNR? That's me, the Chief Planner. I'm here there to answer questions, make suggestions, review chapters, give advice, etc. I can talk to you about your park boards, any issues you might have with the park planning process. That's what I'm there for. You can email me or phone me anytime. My email is gbeilfuss@dnr.in.gov. And my direct phone number at my desk is 317-232-4071. There's lots of free help documents, the FAQs on that planning webpage. One more time, it's www.in.gov/DNR/2603.htm. Now, Park Planning 101. We'll go over this real lightly. There's a great deal more information on that Park Planning webpage. Now, there are three aspects of a plan. You're basically gathering data and information about the community and the parks. That's your what. You're then analyzing that data and information and looking for the answers of why it's important and why and how it might affect your community as a whole and your parks in particular. And then you're taking that analysis and gleaning strategies, as in how you're going to take care of any problems or issues that you've come up with in the analysis process. You've got issues and problems you're trying to figure out. How do I come up with a solution? So the ordinaries planning framework is basically scoping, supply, demand, a needs assessment, and an action plan. Scoping takes a look at the entire community as a whole and then narrows down to parks in particular. And that's sections like the natural features, the man-made, historical and cultural, the demographics and socioeconomic data, and the accessibility section. Supply is actually the inventory of what's currently in the parks and your programs. So how many parks do you have? How big are they? Where are they? Who do they serve? Are there any gaps in service? And then you're looking at demand. Now that's public input, and it's best if it's mixed method. So at least we do require one survey and then one other kind of public input methodology. Normally it's a public meeting. We also encourage things like focus groups, stakeholder interviews. There's all kinds of other things, and all of that is discussed in detail in that park planning webpage. The needs assessment is basically taking all of those various pieces that you got together in the early portions of your planning process. You're analyzing all the data, and you're actually coming up with a decision paradigm. How are we making the decisions we're making for this plan? So what did we find out? How are we making our decisions? And then starting your actual decision paradigm. So you're starting your decision-making process. And then what comes out of that is your action plan, your to-do list. So it's your vision, strategic thinking going forward for the next 5 years, specific and hopefully smart goals and objectives, and then your timing for when you want to actually do things. You normally want to start off with your low-hanging fruit, your easier items first, and make your more expensive or more complicated items that will show up a little bit later on in your to-do list. Now, some common park plan pitfalls, things like lack of public input or minimal public input. Your public input drives your planning process, not the other way around. If you don't have good enough public input, you have no idea what people actually want in your park system. And any money you spend might be questionable as to whether it was a smart move. Another pitfall is ignoring or skipping the accessibility section. Folks, I cannot emphasize this enough. DNR does not enforce this. The Department of Justice, the U.S. Department of Justice does. But this is really, really important. It helps make your system a better system all the way around for everyone in your community. And it's actually not nearly as hard as it might seem. Document your barrier removals over time. Complete the ADA administrative requirements, the Americans with Disability Act administrative requirements, and follow the Americans with Disability Act accessibility guidelines, otherwise known as ADAG. So if you complete that section carefully, it will really help you in the long run. Another pitfall tends to be a lack of needs analysis. You really have to put a little thought and brainstorming into what all this means and what your actual needs are coming out of the process. What do people want? What does your system need to keep going? What are the issues that the community as a whole sees? All of that needs to be brought forward in the needs analysis. And then having no real action plan or strategies. Somewhere in there, you need to be able to come up with your to-do list. What are we going to do next? Or if we have an issue, now what are we going to do about it? So this should take the needs analysis and format it with dates, locations, ballpark estimates of cost. Doesn't have to be exact, but a solid ballpark is a good thing to have. Potential funding sources, and then another nice way of doing that is even add a date completed column. You can normally do this as a table. And that date completed column allows you to keep track of what you've done, how fast, and that's a great reporting mechanism you can share with your local government. What makes a great park plan? Really careful, extensive, mixed method public input, asking both users and non-users for both kudos about what you're doing well and constructive criticism for stuff that they think you need to do better or want more of. You want to reach as many people as possible with as diverse a background as possible and have proof of this. Make sure you gather demographic information from your people you're surveying and getting information from so that you know that you're actually reaching everybody. So your surveys are representative. And then check your demographics once you've got all that information to ensure you did get good representation. Analysis and strategy are what make a park plan. It's not a plan if it's just simply a pile of information. So you're trying to find out what the info means, why it's important to your parks, and then with your strategies, now what you're going to do about it and potentially how. Actual, actionable solutions for problems. Great plans are both incremental and empirical. Each section of the plan does build into the next, and it explains how you got there, that decision paradigm, via what you've observed over time. So you're learning lessons as you go along during a park planning period, and then hopefully you take that information and roll it into your next plan. And that basically makes your plans better and better and better. As said earlier, the action plan starts with low-hanging fruit and works upward towards your dream big-ticket project at the end. Never be afraid to ask for help. That's why we're here. You can contact me, Chief Planner Greg Bifus, at 317-232-4071, or my email, gbelfuss@dnr.in.gov, or you can check out our planning website at www.in.gov/DNR/outdoor/2603.htm. Thank you very much, and please contact us if you have any questions. Have a great day.